So, Julius Malema did not only call for South Africa government to withdraw from the ICC, instead is calling for the whole Africa continent to withdraw from this ICC. He also called all Africans of goodwill to support him on this campaign that he will be leading in order for Africa to withdraw from the ICC. What do you think about it? Is this going to be possible or not? That is the question we'll be discussing in this video. But before that, here's what Julius Malema had said.
The continued aggression of NATO, backed by the United States of America, who want to dictate to the world who everyone should love or hate, and who should be declared enemy and who should be declared a friend. While we are aware of the inability of the South African government to provide any meaningful arms to support Russia, we know that the United States of America is leading a global campaign to isolate and tarnish Russia's image. The U.S. is amongst other things using the ICC as an instrument to pursue narrow political agendas. It is clear that the USA seeks the destruction of Russia and has no interest in a peaceful resolution to the conflict. They preach a non-alignment when they are spreading billions of dollars to support Ukraine with military equipment. We, as the EFF, will be introducing a private member bill in Parliament to effect the withdrawal of South Africa from the International Criminal Court, which has thus far proven to be a biased instrument of global imperialism. The ICC did not do anything against the former US President George Bush for the wars in Iraq and turned a blind eye when Barack Obama and NATO illegally invaded Libya to assassinate brother leader Muammar Gaddafi. South Africa and all African countries must withdraw from the ICC, and the EFF will lead that effort. We therefore call on all BRICS members to strengthen their unity and maximally support Russia to defend itself. This position also goes to show that, as Africans, we cannot take a non-aligned and neutrality as the continuing conflict, such as the recent conflict in Sudan, have demonstrated that there are a proxy wars taking place. We cannot be threatened by disinvestment or trade relations at the expense of our right to determine our own foreign policy. We, as the EFF, also support the de-dollarization of the global economy. The senseless usage of the US dollar as the primary currency of exchange in the global economy has been largely abused by successive American governments. The world, particularly the global South, must expedite the de-dollarization of the global economy, and South Africa must purposefully be on the forefront of this progressive global transition from American undue and unjustified hegemony. The EFF Central Command team reiterates its call for meaningful support and solidarity of all oppressed nations, particularly to the people of Palestine, whose children continue to be killed in places of worship and their land is annexed by the apartheid Israel. The Palestinians are tired of messages of solidarity to protect themselves.
Listen, whether we like it or not, we have to acknowledge something here. Julius Malema remains the only politicians, or shall I say African politicians, who still have that courage of our leaders, such as Muammar Gaddafi, Robert Mugabe, and Patrice Emery Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, so many African leaders who had that courage to stood against the open eye master system back in days. In our days, if we have to mention those who remain with that loyalty to defend the beautiful land of Africa, obviously we can't deny that Julius Malema still have that courage. I'll tell you why I'm saying this. Because if you get to see our leaders that we're having right now in Africa, most of them, they get to have this kind of courage to talk about these kind of things only when they're still in the oppositions. Once they sit in power, once they taste what I call the beef soup, they change their language. They're no longer going to be the same people. They're no longer going to have the same language that they used to say. They'll be afraid of NATO. They'll be afraid of USA. They'll be afraid of UK, of France. All those old colonizations countries. They'll be afraid of them instead of them sticking to their point of view. Do you know why? Because majority of these African leaders, when they get to come in power, they don't intend the power in the normal way. They don't have that power through a fair elections whereby people of their country have to vote for them. Majority of them, they get to succeed to be in power through this open eye master system, which comes and propose to you some ideas, which comes and ask you for an example, like through to organize a military coup. And once you become a president, you start saving them. Some of them, they'll come and say that, okay, we're going to finance you. We're going to influence our point of view of supporting you through our media. That is the reason why you see they'll go through their medias, try to talk everything's good about you and criticize the person whom people are supposed to be voting. So they'll try to sell your name or promoting your name so that the next tomorrow, when your elections come up and your name is being mentioned, no one should not be surprised because they had influence already. So most of African leaders, they get to buy them like that. They'll come to you, they'll propose to you, they'll tell you what to do, and once you accept it, then you sell your soul to the devil. And that is the reason why you get to see, no matter how good some of our politicians or our leaders used to be with us before they become in power, they end up changing all the suddenly just like that. It is because they are under control. There's a system which is controlling them. Now let's back to this part of Julius Malema that I say is one of African leaders who have really so far remained on their side, and they are not even trying to apologize to anyone. Instead, they still keep that faith that one day things will go well according to the way they are seeing it. Look, we're talking about a man who's who's in a opposition political party as other people. And this is the time when a lot of oppositions, they usually get to sell their soul to the devil. When I'm saying to the devil, I'm referring to the open eye master. So these are the times they usually come and buy them. They'll come and say that, okay, for an example, South Africa will be having elections next year. So they'll come during this time and tell you that, no, look, this is about time. We're going to support your campaign. We're going to do everything for you. Next year, you're going to be the president of this country. But by one condition, you'll have to do this, you'll have to do this. So this is the moment when this open eye master, they usually get to negotiate with the opposition political party if they don't want to work with the person who's in power. And that is not the case of Julius Malema, because if you get to see, it's been for some times now that Julius Malema has been sending the strong message to the world, especially to Americans and NATO and its alliance all over around the world. And he's not beating around the bush. I remember in one of his press conferences, he even said that they must not even bother to come and look for him like the way they usually do with other African leaders. They should make sure that they stay on their own corners, because if they come, it's not going to work for them. And Julius Malema had even said that he would prefer to work with such countries as Russia and China, because he believes them, they are there for the development of Africa. So they have the system of a win-win. They give you something, you benefit from it, them also they benefit. And not like US and NATO countries, whereby they come, they just want to impose everything on you. They want to tell you what to do. They want you to do things according to their own ways. So these things of South Africa being imposed or being receiving a lot of pressure from the ICC to arrest the Russia President Vladimir Putin, it is something that South Africa, they have remain firm, refusing to even getting through this problem, like giving their point of view or what. They prefer to remain neutral.
You would see, Minister, that there's a great deal of media interest in our meeting because there are some who don't wish us to have relations with an old historical friend. We have made it clear that Russia is a friend, and we've had cooperative partnerships for many, many years, including partnerships as we combated the apartheid regime, which decimated our people and our country. And while we are friends with many all over the world, we cannot become sudden enemies at the demand of others.
And all this is not all about because of the ANC, which is the ruling party, but it is because the ANC, they are also having the support from the opposition party, though it is not the whole opposition who get to give them this support, because we have parties such as the DA, they don't even want to support this idea. Instead, they have just proven to the people of South Africa that they are there in supervising they're supervising for the open eye mast, because they get to give report somewhere. For an example, South Africa is being accused, falsely accused by the US ambassador, saying that South Africa, they've been selling gun to Russia. And then Minister Naledi Pandor, she came and tried to respond back to them, because this woman, she's doing a very wonderful work when it comes to the international relationship. And this ambassador tried to apologize, which is not enough, because when he spoke about these things, he spoke it in media. So we were also expecting for him to go back in the media and try to apologize, but unfortunately that's not the case up to now. So now what happened is that instead of the opposition political party to remain united with the South African government in order for them to defend whatsoever is being said in behalf of the nation, we are getting to see the DA, they are going to question the government to give them explanation about some of the South Africa military generals who went to Russia. So they want to kind of you guys, you're trying to deny that you did not sell any gun or support Russia with any guns, but why our militaries, they went to Russia? So you see the kind of the opposition that we are having, yet they will tell you that they're there for people of South Africa, but still again the same political party. Recently, you guys, you saw one of the premier in Western Cape who had to say that if the president of Russia arrive in South Africa, will be arrested by him under his authorities. And that questions us, leave us with so many questions to know whether we are now having another country within South Africa or not. Are we having another Lesotho or Siswati inside South Africa? We shall find out. But guys, as I was saying, that the ANC, they still have that support from EFF and its leadership, whereby they remain firm, and they even threaten the ruling party, saying that if you guys, you try to obey to this pressure, if you try to give up from this pressure, us, we're not going to give it up. And yesterday, the president of EFF held this press conference where he gets to make it more, to make everything more clear, that South Africa is going to be withdrawal from the ICC. Though the president Ramaphosa cancelled his withdrawal from the ICC because of what the ANC, they had agreed in their conference. But the president of EFF said that is going to engage a private committee inside parliament So it's kind of like trying to rescue the ANCC from their what should I say, from their conference policies, which they had voted that the South Africa, I mean the government of ANC should remain inside the ICC. So at the same time, they want to leave the ICC, but they end up realizing that we had voted for something, we had signed for something, and therefore we need to remain there until we change this from our policies. If we change it, then that will be something else. So they were left without no choice. Now, this proposal that the EFF leader is bringing up, it is something that is going to rescue now the ANC. I'll tell you why. Because the ANC, if this have to go through the parliament, you can agree, you can trust me, the ANC, they'll vote in favor of that vote or motion, should I put it in that way. Because the only party which is against these things of South Africa defending Russia and President Putin is only DA, who is the only political party who don't want to support this idea. So if they have to bring any motion inside the parliament about to vote about this, I believe the ANC will vote with the EFF. So don't be surprised when that moment comes, because it's just a way that the blood of African child is beating in them, and they feel like, no, even we can have our differences, but on this part we need at least to agree on one thing and do what is good for African child. So that is how it's going to work, because as I asked at the beginning, is it possible for this? Yes, it is possible, especially when it comes to South Africa. What about now Africa? West. I can say that about Africa, it's going to be a little bit challenging, but it's going to go through. Do you know why? Because the message that the president of EFF have been sending out there, I believe it has reached now to many African people. We have get to understand that, look, regardless of which part of Africa you're coming, but we still all be Africans at the end of the day. And we are not all happy with all these things of USA and NATO and the Europeans get to lead Africa even in our days. This is a new generation. This is not our mother's generation or our grandfather's generation. This is our generation, and we need to change things. We need to change things. That is the reason why you get to see that this kind of message is being welcomed in many places around the world by every African. So, obviously, this campaign that Julius Malema is getting to launch out there, calling all Africa or Pan-Africans to come in their numbers to support it, I don't think there will be any Africans who will go against it. So it will go like this, slow by slow. It will start entering inside parliaments, and parliament will be voting it. I'm going to give you a very easy example. Right now, South Africa, that is the process that we are having at the moment. Once these matters are being treated inside the parliament, and it happened that South Africa, we get withdrawal from the ICC, the next things you'll see another African country will follow the same trace. And after then there will be another one. Small by small, you get to see that all African countries, they will leave this ICC because it's not benefiting us. Julius Malema said it. How possible is it that there are many people around the world that who have committed crime that everyone can get to see that this one have done this one have done that, this one have interfered in other countries' sovereignty, yet these people that are walking free out there, no one never been arrested. But yet, with Africa and African leaders, you want to come and tell them what to do, how they need to be, they have to be arrested, and they have to be judged by the ICC. So this message is very clear and very understandable, and I believe that is the fear that you get to see Americans that are having right now, because they were used to this ANC government of whenever they come, they tell them to do something and to do it for them. Now that This ANC, they get to understand that no, these people that are using us and we're not even benefiting that much from them. They start now imposing their own leadership. That's why you get to see there's a lot of conflict lately between South Africa and USA. Their relationship does not make sense anymore. They are now having an ambassador who's there to say things that does not even make sense. These are the same people last year who came and tell us that no, there is a terror attack which is being prepared in Sandton. And they are doing this in media without going even to the government and have a conversation with the government of Pretoria. They did not do nothing like that. They just went through in the media, like you having a visitor there by your place. They see that something is happening, or maybe there is a thief who want to come and steal from your house. Instead of them coming to tell you that no, don't sleep, be aware that there's a thought who's about to break your house. They keep quiet. They went outside on the street. They start shouting, telling everyone that no, there is someone who's about to enter that house to go and steal. What kind of relationship is that? They're supposed to approach the government and tell them that no, look, there is a this. They're trying to do this. And the government will tell you on their site whether they are aware about it or not. What about if the government of South Africa, we were aware about it, and the government, maybe they were planning some other strategy to avoid this problem? Then you go on the street, you make noise. This year now, they are just because they have tried to break all the relationship that Russia have with South Africa, or Russia have with its alliance. And they still like, no, look, when we can't try this nonsense with China, because China is more powerful. If we play with China and they mix together with Russia, they will destroy us. And we are getting to see that through the demonetization of the US dollar. Then they were like, okay, fine, let's try it with Brazil. They go to Brazil, they find Lula there is also a crazy man who don't even want to listen to them. Recently went all the way to China to tell China that no, look, we don't even understand why we should trade in the US dollar. Let's just go straight away and start trading our business, our deal through yuan money. They feel like they can't succeed with Brazil. They went to India. India is even impossible, because for some times now that India never trade with USA again in the US dollar. They prefer to trade with China in the China currency. So now they were like, okay, fine, since we have our side chick, or should I say, yeah, their wife that they always like do everything as much they want, which is Africa. They were like, okay, let's go to South Africa. They keep on putting pressure on South Africa. Hey, you must arrest Putin. Hey, you guys, why are you not voting against Putin? Wow. They thought South Africa was going to give up that easy, as other African nations does. That's what they thought. Now that they see that it's not that simple, South Africa, we thought. These are something else. That is the reason why you get to see that creating even lies. As Julius Malema said, that America have become a crying baby.
America is just becoming a crybaby, trying to find a way into punishing South Africa because of our position on the Russia-Ukraine war. But all equally, to put more pressure with regard to BRICS conference, because they want us not to allow President Putin to come, and now they are spreading false alarms and propaganda as an attempt to put pressure on South Africa. And we call on our government not to surrender to that pressure. President Putin is more than welcome here. The people of South Africa will protect him. Not that he doesn't have capacity to protect himself. No one in South Africa, in the whole African continent combined, has got capacity to can arrest President Putin. So we shouldn't even take chances. He must come here, have his meetings, and then leave. We must sell South Africa to BRICS. We must sell South Africa to Russia. We've got an energy crisis, and Russia is in a better place to can intervene with immediate effect to help South Africa.
Yes, it is true. They have becoming a crying baby because they don't have nothing good to offer anymore. They are making too much noise, complaining all over the world because all the strategies that are not working anymore. Now they're busy crying, they're making too much stories. Guys, Americans remote control. Yes, I want to say America remote control batteries have finished, and they can't find other batteries to replace, so that they'll be controlling Africa and everything around the world. Everyone, they have understood that the death of Muammar Gaddafi, it had really awakened everyone around the world, especially politicians. They have understood that these USA people, if you are dealing with them, tomorrow they will turn against you, and this is what they will do. All they do, it is about protecting their own benefit. Yesterday I was listening to Donald Trump, who is the former president of the USA, because he's planning to come back in 2024 against Joe Biden. And when I get to listen to him, you will just tell that whether it is him, whether it is Joe Biden, that they hold the same. The only difference is just that Joe Biden came with the policy of attacking other nations, creating a lot of war. You don't want to negotiate with anyone. You want everything to be according to him. In other words, you want to have that dictatorship around the world. But Trump, him, is kind of like, he don't care whether you exist or not. You don't care. You don't care. Him, he just focus on Americans. That's the reason why he's like, okay, I cancel Obamacare, I do that. So you get just all of them, they're the same WhatsApp group. And me, as an African, I don't see anyone I'll support among them. Not anyone I can see, like I will be able to support among them. So therefore, guys, I think the idea that Julius Malema raised on this part, it is very important. And it needs to be considered by every African who want to see this beautiful motherland growing up in a very good development. That is it, guys. I wanted to discuss with you on this video today. It was very important that we also pass this message and try to do a small analysis about what the president of EFF had said. Please don't leave without giving us your thumbs up. We really do appreciate. Above all, do subscribe to our channel, follow us in our social medias for more video to come. But for now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon in our next video. Ciao, ciao.